I pray in the name of Jesus that Jesus would stop this storm from impacting the Midwest, especially those in Hey, Timmy Gibson, former fundamental evangelical, tongue talking, Bible thumping, Holy Ghost rolling pastor. So, why won't Jesus stop this storm from hitting us here in the Kansas City metro? If you haven't been following the weather, I have because I live in the Midwest. I've been actually following this weather. Ryan Hall, y'all, that's the guy I follow on YouTube. If you ever want the weather, like he's one of the best. And I think there's another several more. Max Velocity. There's a few others that I watch too, but Ryan Hall, y'all, is jamming big time. Anyway, so what I was thinking about this storm, and I heard some people saying, "Yeah, we're praying," and I'm like, what are you praying about? Now, granted, I know some people are going to be super uber offended at my mockery of prayer. The storm's going to be what the storm's going to be. Okay. It's just going to be what it's going to be. Your prayers, my prayers, it ain't going to change the storm at all. Okay. So, why do people get so weird about that kind of stuff? Especially, typically, like I'm thinking back to the days when I was a pastor, and I'm thinking several things. One is we always said, Jesus died on the cross for our sins. At least we can do is show up to church on a snowy day. Isn't that terrible? Now I feel even bad saying that. We didn't close our doors. And Sunday, which is tomorrow, the storm's coming, and it's going to impact churches all around the middle, where the Bible Belt. Isn't that funny? Actually, the snowstorm is right there, the Bible Belt, and it's going to be the worst in the buckle of the Bible Belt. Jesus is just wanting to sprinkle a little bit of snow and ice on us here in the Midwest. It's an outpouring of the Holy Spirit. That's what it is. It's a fluffy white outpouring of the Holy Spirit all over the Midwest because we on the Bible Belt. I did honestly when I started this video, I hadn't even thought about that. I've been watching all the newscasts, all the Ryan Hally'all, and there's this clear. Go watch them. If I was a weatherman, I would say, guys, we effed. That's what's up. Anyway, like right across the Midwest, all the way through Kansas, Kansas City, St. Louis, Missouri, Tennessee, like it just goes right across the Bible Belt. And the storm is hitting on Sunday, y'all. God's day, the Sabbath day. So churches all across that area are going to be canceled in the name of safety. Oh, okay. Some, I would imagine some pastors are going to be praying, God, we pray for your protection and ask that the snow would go over us. Or they're like, thank God for the snow. I get a day off. Maybe that's what they're praying. But I know this because I used to do this. Okay. Like, this is what I used to do. Speaking of Missouri, Kansas City. Well, you can't really see it. Oh, there we go. Got a new cup for Christmas. I collect these. Anyway, yeah, what I would have prayed. Now, do I pray now? I don't. And the reason I was like, I think things and I hope for things and I wish for things and I'll say those things out loud sometimes. Like, man, I really want this to work out. I just hope that this can go the right way. Or, man, I hope his heart is open to this. Or, like I still like think that way. Just I don't know if it's because it's I've had been doing it for 48 years of my life, and so it's almost like someone that it'd be like being taught karate literally all of your life, and someone throws a punch at you, I mean, you're just, like, it's just kind of automatic, right? How's that? You like that? I don't know karate, even though I'm a ring announcer and I do MMA ring announcing. So go figure. Anyway, so for me, sometimes it's almost second nature. Like, like not too long ago, my wife and I were driving down the road and we came upon an accident, like a real bad accident. And there for a split second, I was just like, oh God, I hope they're all going to be okay. Like instantly there was just that, and then I kind of giggled to myself. I was like, what was that? But when I realized what it was, one, I used to always do that, pray for people. Now that seems so kind, and it is. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not one of those guys that's going to bash every Christian thing. As you know, if you watch my channel at all, if you don't, watch my videos and you'll see. My main contention is with the evangelical, fundamental, moronic, bigoted crowd. Like that's the group that I came out of, right? That the earth is 6,000 years old, Adam and Eve were the first two humans, like all that BS, all that myth, like clearly none of that's true. I believed it all to be very true. Now, I'm agnostic, atheist as it relates to the Bible God. So, yeah, I'm not a believer. Um, but I don't have I just talked to one of my friends the other day, one of my longtime friends. I've been friends with this dude for, goodness, I'm 55, almost my whole life. So 40 some years that I've been friends with this guy. And he's uber Christian, he's still kind of that fundamental type. And he's a good dude with a good heart. Clearly, I think his beliefs are wackadoodle and goofy. But we usually don't talk much about that. And if we do, it's very light. And I'll even say things like, "Dude, just because I don't believe in God anymore, or, I don't believe in your imaginary friend, I let go of my imaginary friend. I still think you're a good dude, and I'm glad we're still friends." So I'm not like anti. I know some people are just anti all things Christian, and that's just not me at this point. I think that there are some good Christian people out there. They just have goofy, moronic beliefs. Is what I often say. So, but I was thinking about all this snow and how I would pray and how when I was a pastor, we never closed. We never shut our doors. Jesus is always on our side, and we're always going to have the doors open for people to come and worship God. Oh boy, I think about that. I literally was talking to my wife the other day, and we were just talking about this snowstorm. And I didn't plan on doing this video. This video, like literally, I thought about it this morning, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pop up here on Saturday, which is today, obviously. The storm's going to be here around 2 o'clock here in the Kansas City area, 2 to 3, and then kind of overnight, and then tomorrow. We're getting anywhere from 13 to 18 inches of snow. And so I might come on just for all of you that watch who maybe haven't seen snow, don't see snow, have never seen snow outside of TV. I might come on here. I'm trying to decide. I have a video that's releasing tomorrow. I've already recorded it, and it'll release tomorrow. But I might come on again just to show you, because I have such a beautiful view. Those that are on my YouTube channel. Oh, by the way, holy bang balls! So my YouTube got hacked by some crypto scammers, and I'm still working to get my Facebook back. So I've lost my Facebook. I started a new Facebook. Please friend me. It's my full name, Timmy Joe, Joe, Gibson. Just Timmy Joe Gibson. Okay. And it's the same picture that I use for my profile here on YouTube. My hacked account is a picture of me in a suit with my hair pulled back in a bun. Okay, that site's been hacked by some F-tards. So super, that sucks. But also, with that being said, I started a deconstruction page, and we had like almost, I think, 350 to 400 members on that page. It was called the Deconstruction Community. Well, that was attached to my original profile on Facebook. So I lost that. I don't have it anymore. I don't have control of it. I don't have access to it. So I started a new one. And this is probably even the title I should have done from the beginning. So if you're watching this video and you're agnostic, atheist, or deconstructing, on your way out of Christianity, religion, you can join my Facebook group. And it's just called Timmy's Deconstruction Community. Timmy's Deconstruction Community. That's it. And literally, we just kicked that off. I think there's maybe 10 people that have joined at this point. This is the first video that I've mentioned this because, I schedule my videos ahead. So, a lot of times the video that comes out, like my Facebook got hacked and I had videos coming out after that happened, but I had already pre-recorded the videos. So anyway, this video I'm recording now, which is Saturday, January 4th, I believe. Is that what the date is? I believe so. The year 2025, by the way. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Hope this year brings you all the love and joy and all the things you want in life. All right, so back to this whole praying and the snow across the snow belt. I remember as a pastor, I would have, like, why isn't Jesus stopping this snowstorm? Right? Like, that would be why is Jesus not going to stop this snow? Here's the thing. I mean, I'm recording this, like I said, Saturday. I don't know what time it is. I don't have a clock on me, but it's probably getting close to, I don't know, 1 o'clock, something like that. So here within the next hour or so, we're going to start getting ice, sleet, freezing rain, and then snow. And why am I doing this? Well, there's a lot of reasons. But one, I was just thinking, the prayers aren't going to stop this storm. Like, why isn't God going to stop the storm? Or why isn't Jesus going to stop the storm? Because I remember there's a lot of people praying, right? And a lot of people are praying for snow. A lot of people are praying they don't want that much snow, or, why can't it just snow on the grass and not on the streets? Here's the reality, okay? This is terribly sad, but this is just the reality. This storm is going to have fatalities. Like, it's going to. It's going to knock power out. People are going to get in accidents. I mean, it's just 100% going to happen. We don't, it hadn't happened yet. And I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a, I don't predict things out into the future, but we can be certain, with 99.99999% accuracy that if the storm hits as they're saying, there will be fatalities, there will be some craziness, there will be some, people freezing to death, like that stuff's going to happen. Why wouldn't God just fix that? Now, here's what people say, because again, as you know, spending 48 years of my life as an evangelical Christian, I still have those thoughts and think that brain is still in there, right? And now I've got my, agnostic atheist brain. So oftentimes when I'm saying something with what I believe now, I can hear my evangelicals say what I used to believe, I don't believe it anymore, but I can go back in there and grab it. And it's this: well, God gave us the news, and God is forewarning us to stay inside and don't get in our car. So if we go in our car, we're taking our life into our own hands. Okay. And there's the truth in that has nothing to do with God. The truth is that yes, we are in charge of our lives, right? If they say it's a travel advisory, don't go out and travel, then don't go out and travel. Like, right? Now, if you say, well, I have to go to work, the work isn't what, I don't know what to say to that except call your boss and be like, F you, I ain't coming in. Come, why don't you get your ass out of bed and come pick me up and take me to work then? Right? I mean, if it's that dangerous. I know here in Kansas City, they're already salting the streets with that blue salt. And like I said, there's a window right behind me here. That's where I'm getting my light from. And so I can see cars driving by. And it's funny. I try not to be, squirrel. I try not to do that. But yeah, I see cars driving by, and there's a creek out in front of us here. And so when it snows, it's absolutely breathtakingly beautiful out these windows. I have a big window here and a big window over here. And so I'll show you that tomorrow. Tonight, we won't be getting, tomorrow will be best. So I'll have my normal video coming out, but then I'll also do a video just showing you kind of the view and what the snow is looking like here. Anyway, I'm all over the place because, like I said, I didn't plan on doing a video today, but I'm just thinking about this Bible Belt snow that's happening across our little Midwest area here, and just thinking about the churches that can't have service tomorrow. I mean, why? I remember as a pastor, I remember thinking, why? Why, God, is what I would say then. I'd be like, why, God? Why does it not snow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday? But on Sunday is when it snows. And I'll be honest, when I was a pastor, that's what it felt like. It felt like during the winter, it never snowed during the week. It was always on Sunday. So it was always effing up our Sunday service. And I was always so frustrated. So literally, when I think about this particular storm coming in right now, literally, it couldn't be worse for the Christian churches, for the people that have church. It's literally snowing in the Bible Belt, in where a lot of people go to church. It's literally going to sleet and snow Saturday night, all day Sunday. Like, don't you think that most every Christian, every pastor who should have God's ear could get that storm to move to Monday? That's just crazy. I mean, it's just one more out of a million things that just absolutely proved. Clearly, there's no proof of the Bible God. I mean, clearly there's no proof of it, obviously. But this is, to me, just even more proof, more just really, really, out of all the days of the week, when is this storm coming to hit Earth? Saturday and Sunday. Especially for those churches that are like, we're hip and cool. We do Saturday night service. You ain't doing Saturday night tonight, you ain't. Unless you're going to put everybody in danger. Well, we just pray, and we pray, and God's going to protect all the people that come to the church. Okay. Oh, and I can't wait. There's so many videos I've got ideas for and planned and in the queue and ready to come out for this year. I haven't talked a lot about this yet, but I come from the Assemblies of God, okay, which is the Pentecostal, fundamental evangelical group. But I've probably mentioned this, but I've not talked a lot about it in detail, but I'm going to. I got in amongst the charismatic, the Word of Faith group, the name it, claim it people. Like, I used to write on my check when I would, write a check out back when you had checks. I would put, and I'd write real small, I'd say, money cometh to me right now. Maybe some of you remember that. We used to do that with our offerings at the church I went to down in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Everybody grabbed their check. They grabbed their check. I kid you not. This is going to sound like a joke, but it ain't a joke, okay? I'm going to grab something so you can get that feeling of like I'm holding up a check. So everybody grab their check. We'd grab our checks. This is during offering, okay? So they're getting ready to pass the offering bucket, but before we pass the offering bucket, we're going to pray, okay? And this is literally the kind of stuff we'd pray. But first we'd be like this. Everybody, the pastor would say, everybody hold up your check up in the air. Wave it around a little bit. Wave that money around. Wave God's money around a little bit. And we'd say together, we'd all say, everybody say it together. Money cometh to me right now. You think I'm kidding. I swear we used to say that. And then we would do it again. We'd say, money cometh to me right now. We would scream that. And I'm talking, there's 5,000 people in the building. And you want to talk about, it made you feel like you were doing something special. I was doing something for God. God needs my money. while the pastor and his wife drive brand new $200,000 Mercedes. They're back in the green room before the church service starts. And man, they do it boldly. It's like that Creflo Dollar. What a name. I wonder if that's his real name. Highly likely, or highly unlikely. Anyway, he's some preacher. I think is he in Atlanta? I've not been inside of his church, but I've been to the church to see it. But he's he among many of those word of faith preachers, have private jets, and they're out front about God. Jesus was poor so that we could be rich. Okay, I'm going to do a video about that. I'm going to talk a lot about just the corruption and the just in your face pride and the arrogance and the assholery and the just absolute insanity of the word of faith charismatic movement. I mean, it is absolutely off the charts insane. When I talk about delusional, when I talk about Christians that are delusional, okay, because I believe anybody that believes that, all the Christian stuff, specifically, I really believe that people are very delusional when they believe that there's going to be a rapture, Jesus is coming back, and all that. Okay, those people are just a fry short of a Happy Meal. Their elevator doesn't go to the top floor. Like it's just not right. Charismatic people are a whole nother level of delusional. They're not just delusional, they are insane. Literally off their rockers insane. Now, let me just say something. And I know this video is all over the place, and that's fine because I don't normally do a video on Saturday, but I just wanted to get some thoughts out today. Just because of the snowstorm, I'm going to be snowed in. My wife and I are going to be snowed in for a few days because Jesus can't do nothing about this storm. It's a wild thing to me. And I guess, like, when I think about even my own life, I mean, I was there, right? I was delusional. Like, I had bought into the delusion. Yet, all intents and purposes, I was much like the same guy that you see today, except for my beliefs. You know what I mean? Like, if you would have talked to me about normal life stuff, motorcycles, cars, or traveling, or snowboarding, or like cigars, or, you know what I mean? Like, I could have had a conversation with you about just normal stuff, and I wouldn't have seemed delusional outside of if we would have started talking about certain things, where do humans come from, anything about evolution. Of course, I believe that was all hogwash. Earth is 6,000 years old. The Bible's literally true. Jesus is coming back. My whole worldview, like just that prayer works. I mean, like, if And so it was like almost like this separate compartment, because it's like there are word of faith, charismatic surgeons, for example, who are unbelievable surgeons and make millions of dollars as an expert in surgery. Like, how is that, right? Well, that's a good question. I'm not really sure why. I think it's just because you study that, and that's what you do, and that's what you excel in, and that's what you're good at, and that's a separate thing. Now, how it might influence them is, they probably pray over their patients. They probably ask for God to help them, and ask for God to help the patient recover. Like all those things, which are very. I'm just going to be honest, guys. That sounds even sweet as I'm saying it. Honestly, like if you ask me, would you want a doctor? Would you, if you had a doctor operating on you, would you want a doctor who was praying for you? I mean, what I really would want is just like the best surgeon to operate on me. And if he also prayed, fine. But more than the prayer, I want the best. Does that make sense? Like if someone said, I have a Christian surgeon and I have an atheist surgeon, which one do you want to operate? I'd be like, which one is better? Like, I could care less whether they're Christian or not. I don't care what they believe. What I care about is how good they are, right? And so if the Christian was a better surgeon, then I'd be like, well, yeah, the Christian, I guess, because they're better. Or if it was the atheist that was better, I'd be like, well, the atheist. You know what I mean? Because obviously the Christian has no, they think they have some insight, some supernatural connection to the divine, but they don't. Okay. So, gosh, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I don't know. It's a very curious thing to me, to be honest, how someone could be just literally delusional, like believe that Adam and Eve were the first two humans, believe that Noah built an ark and actually two of every creature were on it, and they love this God that wiped out all of humanity, and this all happened, and the earth was created 6,000 years ago, and it was created old with the dinosaur bones already in it. Like, that is fascinating to me, that you could be a normal functioning human out in the world, like doing normal stuff, but then also believing all of that. Yet, that was me. That, now again, I was a pastor, so my life, everything about my life was, to be honest, if can I just be really just honest with you here? So there were a lot. I live in the Midwest. Okay. So I was really nothing more than revered. Just to be honest with you, I was very revered in the community where I live in Kansas City. And still to this day, I'll have people, because I've been on TV quite a bit, um, over the years. I've been in Kansas City all my life. I went away for seminary, as you all know. But I've been back in Kansas City since the year 2002. So, I've been in Kansas City, 24 years, 23 years, I guess, back in Kansas City, but I was here also before. But in that 23 years, I've been on the local news a lot. I was on the local news like a lot, like every month, like all the time. I was a lot of times weekly, just because, for a lot of reasons. One, our church did a lot of things in the community. We did a lot of outreach. We did things for the homeless. We did a lot of that stuff. And then also just my relationship coaching stuff. I got invited to be on a lot of the morning shows here in Kansas City all the time to talk about relationships and different things. Like I'm a what do they call it? I forget what news people really love me because I'm used to talking to people. And so they know that they can just have me on, cue me up on a question, and I'm good to go. I forget what they call that. I'm an easy interview. I forget what they call that, but there was a term that I've had many people tell me, like, "Oh yeah, we love having you on because you're a whatever." And so that's just what happened up until about the time I was deconstructing, as well as COVID. Like, things just changed. Things just, as you know, the world changed. Things just changed and things became different. And I was, like I said, I was on TV pretty much every other week doing a morning show as a guest. And then COVID happened and they weren't having guests anymore. And they did have me on Skype or Zoom one time or whatever. But then everything changed. Everything changed, which is very, very curious in the sense of the timing of it all, because then we go through COVID and I'm deconstructing during that time and charting a whole new path. Of course, clearly, COVID and my deconstruction and several other things. I haven't gone into full detail of the when I was pastoring and why I quit. The main reason I quit was two reasons. One, what I've already shared before here, is that I found it more difficult to teach and preach certain things, and it was like I found less that I believed, and challenged, like, how do I teach this when I don't believe this? As well as even COVID, because when the church closed down, it was a slow, gradual kind of a shutdown. And then I'll do another video and tell more about this story, because I've given you like a 10,000-foot view, kind of like a, here's the shot. But the details of it, I actually transitioned the church into a more spiritual gathering before it finally just went bye-bye totally, during COVID, whenever you couldn't gather anymore. And so, it went from fundamental evangelical church to more progressive, more open-minded. Then it went to more of a spiritual gathering. And, as I was deconverting and changing in my beliefs, the church was changing drastically. And then pair that with COVID, and you can't gather together, and we tried to survive, and it just finally was like, it just couldn't happen anymore. But it was ultimately, at the end, it was my decision, because I sat there and was looking out at the people that were coming, even to the spiritual gathering. And I was just like, I just don't believe this stuff anymore at all in that way. Because I also went through that, in that deconstruction, I got to a place where I said, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And there's nothing wrong with that. Seriously, like if that's you, that's awesome. Like, that's, as long as you're not fundamental evangelical nutball moronic, like, whatever, like, one of my good friends is actually I have several Buddhist friends, and they're awesome people. Like, they're just awesome. I mean, they smoke a little bit of that devil's lettuce, and they're just cool people, man. But I get asked this a lot, like, well, do you believe in Buddhism, or it's like, guys, I've researched, and I just got to the point where I realized I'm agnostic atheist. I don't believe in the supernatural. I don't believe in a God. I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in heaven. The afterlife. Here's what I know about the afterlife: is I don't know about it, nor do you, nor does anybody. I know it, Timmy. I read the Bible, and in Revelation it says this. Guess what? I don't care if you're a Bible thumping, tongue talking, Holy Ghost rolling. It don't matter. You don't know what's going to happen after you die. Now, you think you do, and that's fine. You can have your own thoughts, and I know you believe it, and you think the Bible is the Word of God. Well, that's fine. That's good for you. But the reality is, you don't know jack shit. That's the truth. And the truth is, nor do I. Like, I don't know what's going to happen after I die. But here's what I do know, that whatever it is going to be what it is. That's the facts. Like that I do know. Whatever it is going to be what it is. Aren't you scared, Timmy? What have you wrong? I've done videos on this. You just need to go through my videos. I've answered that dang question so many times. I just don't have any fear of the afterlife. I don't. I'm not a Ted Bundy. I'm not a Hitler. So I feel just fine. I don't have any concerns or worries that I'm going to be going to the bad place. Okay? I don't believe in any place. I believe death is the cessation of life. I believe that when you die, it's going to be just like it was before you was born. Nothing. Now, I'll be honest, the reason I say agnostic so many times is I don't know. Maybe there is something after this. I don't know. My wife believes there's something after this. Maybe she's right. I don't know. Right? That's the thing. I don't know. And the truth is, you don't know either. But like I said, my wife believes, and she's super spiritual. She's a very spiritual woman, and that's fine. And I've said this so many times before. You say, well, how does that work, Timmy? With you being an atheist, how does it work if she's spiritual? Well, she's not fundamental. That's what my whole channel is about. I would like to tear down the fundamental evangelical church because it's a farce. It is literally a farce. It's a shit show. It's not real. It's just not. I've come to understand that now that I've left and walked away, and now that I can look at it without the filters of ridiculousness. It's like when you're an evangelical Christian, you look at everything like with the filter that just like, yeah, that sounds true. I believe it. I mean, it blinds you to what is so clearly the truth. That's what's so freaking interesting about this whole journey is now that I'm out of it, now when I see things from the evangelical, especially that charismatic, nutball, lying, deceiving, psychopathic group, they're just delusional. I just had a conversation with someone that's one of those people. And I told him, I said, I know you have a good heart. I said, clearly, I don't share in your beliefs, and I think you're wrong. And it's true. Like this person I'm thinking of right now, he's a good guy. You know what I mean? Like he wouldn't want to hurt anybody, not intentionally. You know, like he's a good father. He's a good husband. You know what I mean? Like he means well. He's sincere. But he's also completely delusional and off of his rocker. He's insane, but he can't see it. Just like I couldn't see it when I was there too. That's what, again, this has been so interesting of a journey for me to have been in it. Like I wasn't just an attendee, right? I wasn't just a Christian. You know, he wasn't really a Christian. Shut the freak up, you moron. That's just such a stupid, ignorant. That just shows you're ignorant when you say that to someone that's deconstructed and left their faith. Well, they must not have been a real Christian. You're just a stupid moron. That's what's your deal, okay? So stop being a stupid moron. All right, so like he's a really sweet guy, very sincere. I was too. Like I genuinely believed in what I thought, what I believed, and what I preached. You know what I mean? Like I genuinely believed that if I laid hands on someone, that the power of God would go through me into that person. And if that person had enough faith to believe also that I had that power working through me, that they would receive the healing that God had for them. I believed that. I 100% to my core believed that was true. I also believed that if I gave 10% of my income to the church, that God would bless the 90% that was left over. that the 90% that's left over would go further than the 100% if I stole that 10% from God. That is 100% false. That is not true. I can prove it. I can prove it just as a pastor. I had people in my church who were faithfully giving 10% of their income. Some people, this is just, listen, I've repented of all that crap. I don't believe all that crap. I feel, I sometimes think back and just shake my head at the things I used to teach. But we had people on Social Security that got like whatever, 20, whatever it was, $2,200 a month. And they would literally cut a check for $220 every month to the church. They were given 10% of their already small Social Security check that they needed to live on, and they gave that to the church. Now, did God bless them? Here's what's so weird about this, that if you ask that person, they would say, yes, I always can pay my bills and I always have food on the table. And though that might be true, right? What's also true is they's broke and they needed that extra $220 more than the church did. And that's sad. And so, yes, like there were people in our church who were financially blessed. Like they were like lawyers and doctors and, like I had all kinds of people in my church. And some of them, were already, they driving in their Bentleys, or not Bentleys. That's my dream car. They were driving in the Mercedes. They were driving in their BMWs. And they were driving in their Audis, Lexus, all their cool cars. Dropping $5 in the bucket, driving whatever. Some were giving money. Some people, that about 20%. If you have 100 people in a church, 20 people are given tithing. The other 80% are dropping dimes, dropping dollars, dropping 10 cents here and there, because they just don't want to feel bad. They want to feel like they're doing something. I remember sometimes, this is so funny. I have so many stories, guys. Like this YouTube channel will literally go on for my entire life, which hopefully is a very long time. And I've just got videos and galore coming out my booty to share with you. But I remember when we would collect the offering, some of my best friends were a part of it with me and were some of my key leaders in the church. And it was always funny because they'd laugh. They go, yeah, we got the offering. They go, a bunch of people dropped in empty envelopes because they want to look like they were given. So they drop in an empty envelope, or they drop in an envelope and it have $1 in it. Now that could have been a kid, but we know, because we people, we know what's up. We remember seeing some adults acting like, yeah, look at me, Pastor. I'm waving money coming to me right now, and I'm putting it in the offering bucket. There ain't nothing in that envelope, though. All right. Oh gosh, I'm having fun kind of being off the cuff here. I want to see, what else do I want to say? What else do I want to talk about? Yeah. So, I'm all over the place. There's geese flying right there. That's so pretty. Yeah. So it's, I'm sure there are some churches that are really managing their finances well and spending it, doing what they should be doing with it, helping people and really doing communities and, doing community events and, like, and creating a community. This is something I still contend with. I still say, like, there's no way that a Christian has stayed this long through the whole video. I would be shocked if you are a Christian at this point in the video. But if you are, and you are a part of a community, you should give some kind of support to the community. Okay. Again, now you got to know what you're doing. You ain't giving that money to God. You ain't giving that money to God. God don't need your money. The pastor and his family and the staff need that money. Okay. I gotta get some chapstick. My lips are getting dry. Yeah, like God don't need no money. Okay, right? Hello, he's God. Couldn't he just manifest money? So let's not be morons. Let's not be gullible. Let's not be stupid here. God don't need your money. Okay, it's the pastor and the staff that need the money. And now, and that's not always all bad, except unless the church ain't doing something right now. If your pastor's driving a Mercedes and has a private jet and is wearing $5,000 suits, and all his money's coming from the church, that guy's a cockamamie thief. That guy's a charlatan. That guy's a piece of what. Okay, 100%. He is a thief. He is a gangster, and I don't mean that in a good way. He is a bad person, and if there is a hell, he gonna be getting there first. Because he ain't going to. The rich people don't enter into heaven, Jesus said. So that mofo ain't getting no heaven. He getting hell. He has heaven here on earth. He gonna be in hell for eternity. Clearly, I don't believe any of that BS. But like that kind of stuff, like that's just like literally, it's so there. Man, my mind just came back to the original thought that I never actually completed. It's so shocking to me how clear it is that Christianity isn't true, especially that fundamental evangelical part. And you didn't think I was ever going to get back to that, did you? It's so obvious. It's like right in front of your face. Clearly, prayer doesn't work. Hello. Just look at the prayer, look at the result. Look at the prayer, look at the result. Like clearly prayer does not work. Okay, and clearly when you tithe to your church, the windows of heaven don't open up for you unless they would open up for you anyway. Listen, I'm not a Christian. I don't believe any of that crap at all. And I would say I have been blessed financially with my business. And ever since I deconstructed and left my Christian faith, I'll be honest, because, I was a pastor. I made money I was a full-time paid pastor. So I walked away from a full-time paying job, and it was a good paying job. Okay. It wasn't excessive because the church was only 300 people, but I made a good salary. And along with my wedding business, I was doing just fine. So you take away, 60% or at least 50%, not 60% of my income. I don't know how you would do if I just took 60% of your income from you, but 60% of my income got wiped away, and now I'm, just doing the weddings. And I had to drive Uber. I drove Uber for a year and did some other things. I do a lot of things. I'm a photographer. There's a lot of things that I dabble in. And then finally, now the wedding business that I've been doing it for several years. Thank goodness I don't have to drive Uber. I got stories to tell you for years on Uber driving, dear Lord. And so, yeah, I mean, I do other things now to supplement to make it work. And it took some time, but I would be, if I was still a Christian, I would say God is opening up the windows of heaven. He's blessing me. So back to what I've been trying to say, and I keep going off on these little rabbit trails. It's so obviously not true. It's so obviously not true that the earth is 6,000 years old. It's so obviously true that the earth is a sphere. Yet you still have morons who are going to say they think it's flat. They're so conspiratorial. That's how I view evangelical Christianity. We know for a fact that Adam and Eve weren't the first two humans 6,000 years ago. That's not like, well, that's just a theory. That's one theory. No, you freaking moron. It's not. We know for a fact. And we also know the cradle of civilization is Africa. It's not the Middle East. Like, there's so many things that we've learned and uncovered and discovered, that it's not a debate. This isn't like, so there are so many things within the evangelical Christian belief system, like clearly, absolutely, there will be no rapture. Jesus ain't coming back. That's absolutely not happening. And like, hopefully YouTube will be around for well after I'm dead and gone. Hopefully they'll go back and watch this video like in the year 3024, and still Jesus hasn't come back. Why? Why hasn't Jesus come back in the year 3024? Because he ain't ever coming back. If Jesus existed, he died 2,000 years ago, and that's it. He's dead. He's gone. I don't know what to tell you, but that's just it. What they just keep put in the year 3024. You know what they're going to say? It's going to happen in the year 3025. And then 3025 will come and go. It's going to happen in 3026. It doesn't. It's going to happen in the 3027. That's just what they do. They just keep moving the goalpost. I did a video earlier on. Check it out. Look, I have a lot of videos, y'all. I did a video. Jesus ain't coming back, and I talk about all the predictions. There's been hundreds of predictions over the years. None of them have happened. None of them have happened. The most famous one that I remember, just because of my age and whatnot, it was a book called 88 Reasons Jesus is going to Return in 1988. And it was 88 chapters. Each chapter was, here's the 88 reasons that Jesus is going to, oh, wait, it's 1989. He didn't come back. Dang it. And then they just, oh, no, it wasn't 89. It wasn't 88. It was 89. No, it was 89. It was 90, 91, 2000, 2001, 2000. Here we are in the year 2025. And ain't no Jesus ain't come back. And he ain't coming back. I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's just true. And, I know my hat keeps falling back. I know what Christians think. I was one. And all I can say is, I give them a hard time, obviously, just because it's part of my shtick. But, man, I just believed it so sincerely, man. Like, I was just convinced. I was convinced I had the truth. I was just convinced, man. I believed it. Hook, line, and sinker. I just absolutely believed it. There was just and one, again, I say this all the time. I was born on the church pew. So, I mean, I wasn't like a latecomer. You know what I mean? Like, I had believed it from the very beginning of my existence. So, clearly, like, I had I think it's an atheist that asked me a stupid question. I'm not even going to repeat it. But he asked me some question. And I was thinking to myself, dude, I was born into this. It's not like I became a Christian as an adult. I was trained to believe this to be true. So, when people want to be weird, and how could you fall for that? Like, how could I fall for it? It was all I ever knew. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like at 30, I was like, guess what? I believe in Jesus now. I was taught it was true from the moment that I was freaking out of the womb. So, it took me a minute. I was saturated with it. All my friends were believing it. My family believed it. My grandparents believed it. All my cousins believed in it. You know what I mean? Like, my community believed in it. All my neighbors believed. Like, everybody freaking around. And then here I am, I'm watching, sports on television, and I'm thanking God for that touchdown. All the sports people believe in it. So clearly, like, I, duh, how could you not believe in it if in that kind of a scenario, right? It took me a minute. Like, thank God I'm just not that way anymore. I finally looked in the mirror and was like, and you know what? Is it possible that this ain't true? That's kind of how it happened for me. I mean, you know my story. If you watch my channel, if you don't, like I say, go watch Cuss and Discuss, do all the stuff. I can't believe I took this long to say that. Cuss and Discuss, do the stuff, like, subscribe. It helps the video. Hey, like and subscribe so you can go to heaven forever and ever. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, I mean, it was just like I didn't know any other way. It just took me a minute. And I've shared my story of what made me leave, but some of the initial things that were just like the little bitty teeny snags in the thread of my Christian belief was the question, like, is it possible that this is not true, or is it possible, especially within the Christian world, because there's so many different Christian beliefs, that I remember thinking, what if what if my view of Christianity, or interpretation rather, that's probably the better way to say it, or theology, like, what if my theology is wrong? Like, we both can't be right? Like, Hinduism can't be true and Christianity true and Buddhism true, right? Because they're exclusionary, meaning if Christianity is true, like if Christianity was really true, which it's not. Oh yes, it is, Timmy. No, like 100%, it's not. Okay, like 100%, like it's not. If Christianity is true, it's not. Then Hinduism can't be true. I mean, right? Like, if Christianity is true, like, Hinduism can't be true. And if Hinduism is true, Christianity can't be true. If Judaism is true, Christianity can't be true. Hinduism can't. You know what I mean? If Buddhism is true, then Christian. Right? There. In all the religions, there either has to be one that is right and is the true one religion, which I can hear Christians going, "It's Christianity. It's Jesus. Timmy, that's the truth. You're so close." Like, yeah, I mean, if out of all the religions of the world that have ever been, there's been thousands of religions. I don't know if you know that or not, but there's been thousands of religions that we know of over the course of human history. And I'm sure it goes way further back than that, and there's even more. And there's been, thousands of gods. Turned out none of them are true. But no, this one is true, Timmy. This last final one in our modern day, that's the real one. Okay. But yeah, they can't all be simultaneously true. And so one would have to be true. Well, which one? And that's just, I just want to crack a bunch of jokes right now, because clearly whatever religion you is the one that is the right one. Like, that's just the way. There's an old Bible verse that says every man is right in his own sight. And that is true, because the Christian thinks that their religion is the right one. The Jews think their religion is the right one. The Hindus think their religion is the right one. And Buddhists think their religion is the right one. Muslims think their religion is the one true religion. Like, that's just what they think. And it's not true. It's just not. No, Islam is the truth. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. And well, here's what's funny is the Christians are like, "That's right, Timmy. It's not, because Christianity's the right one. But it ain't either. It ain't. Sorry, it ain't. It ain't the one true one. All right. I started this video. I went all over the place. It's not my scheduled time to even do a video. That's tomorrow, 7 a.m. A video comes out. But I'll do a follow-up video because there will be a snowstorm, and I'll show you what it would be looking like tomorrow. I'll come on here and do a video, and maybe I can pick the camera up and turn it around, I think. I don't know if that'll mess up the lighting and all, but yeah, so Jesus ain't stopping no storms around here in the Midwest. In fact, I don't know. Maybe it's punishment. It's punishment for the sins of the wicked. That's a whole nother video right there. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much. I just absolutely love having this YouTube channel. I love that you listen. And, you know, like I said, please subscribe. Only about 30% of you are subscribed. So please do subscribe. It helps the channel. And hit that notification bell, because then every time I release a video twice a week, you get notified and you find out all about that fun stuff that I be sharing. Yeah, again, always cuss and discuss down below. I don't read all the comments, as you know, I read a lot of them, especially, you know, if you're a Christian trying to be mean, you know, that's weird, right? Ironic. I don't even usually read your comments. I might start to see it and go, yeah, nope. But you know, if you have a thought or idea or a comment or a question or content idea for me, like, let me know. In fact, a lot of these videos have come from some of the comments, some of the things I've seen, and you know, it spurs on things in my own story. Like today's video, this was actually a conversation with my wife this morning that I thought, ooh, I should get on there and do a video, talk a little bit about some of this stuff, because we got a storm coming in the Bible Belt, and God ain't gonna stop it. So yeah, that's it. I think that's it. And yeah, peace to you. Have a great day. And if you're in the Midwest, yeah, man, we're going to be having a lot of snow. Don't forget, join that deconstruction group, Timmy's Deconstruction Community on Facebook. You know, and I've got, like I told you earlier in the video. All right, guys, peace, everybody. Enjoy the snowstorm. I'm going to make a snowman. I'll send you pictures. See ya.